Oh, what's up, Way of Life Boot Camp? Yeah, here we go. Had to get a few burpees in, a few push-ups, and I don't know what the other stuff was, but pretty intense, right? You know, pretty intense. And you know what we're doing is we're the first movement to be able to have you burn calories while you're sitting down watching us do the wacky things we do at times. Just joking on that, but Way of Life Boot Camp, right, is you're in a certain challenge right now, whether it's a 6-week challenge, 6-week transformation. You're in the 21-day detox, and you know, you've got a whole group of people, whether you're doing it in, you know, another country, or you're doing it in another state, or you're here at one of our home boot camps. And you know, what you'll see inside of that, if you go onto the Facebook group, is you'll see some of the time, you know, you'll see consistency and you'll see intensity. Now, I'm not going to talk about intensity like it's this worst, you know, thing, or worst, you know, distant cousin of consistency, because you definitely need to be intense at times in certain intervals inside of your training, or in certain ways of your life. And I remember a time where I was training one day, you know, with a big group of people, and it looked like a lot of, you know, there was a couple of sports guys, and I was training with a few professionals, and you know, we're working out and we're all sweating and everything like that, and we're going up this hill, and we're backward bear crawling up the hill. And my mindset was different at that time. I was training for, you know, you know, to look good, which is great, you know, and I was training to, you know, look a certain way for summer, and I think that's very good too as well. And so one of the guys had came up that was just watching, and I think he was he was traveling from a different country or wherever, and he was like, man, what are you guys doing? Are you guys training for a sport? Or are you training for the NFL or NBA or whatever, you know? And I was about to go, you know, I was about to say, yeah, I'm training for, you know, the things that I wanted to train for, which is summer and all those types of things. And then we had another brother that was there that spoke just straight wisdom. He said, nah, we're training for life. And that's what it is. It's about life, you know. And I think, you know, it's about being consistent. Being consistent in your training is what we want to build here at the Way of Life Boot Camp, is a habitual practice that you can have on a daily basis, or on a every other day basis, that will be able to service you in every area and aspect of your life. So depending on what season it is, you know, people say, you know, well, you know, I don't really care what I look like in the winter, or I really don't, you know, or maybe they put on a few more pounds or whatever in the winter. It's not about that. What we want to do is have you feeling good, or have you feeling, you know, as good as you can during that area or that season of your life. So it's not like you're getting ready for this certain, you know, this, you know, whatever it is. It's a wedding or a reunion or a party or whatever is going on, or the summer or spring break, right? I see these posts on different social networks where it'll talk about, you know, the person takes off their shirt, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, they figure out that they're not ready for a certain season. You know, to me, that's very menial and very, you know, very immature. Just to me, that's just how I feel about it. I just feel about, you know, it's all about how you feel about yourself, all about how you feel about your health, and where you're going with that. Are you staying consistent with your health? Are you staying consistent with your workouts? Or are you being intense just for a certain season? Because that's not so healthy, because you can fluctuate, especially us being fitness professionals. Me and Coach Forrest and other coaches of the Way of Life Boot Camp, we've seen boot campers lose a magnificent amount of weight, 21 pounds in 21 days, 24 pounds in 21 days. You know, in a 6-week, losing over 35 pounds at that time, right? And I'm not saying that those certain people gain their weight back. I'm not saying that. But what can happen is you can end up gaining all that weight back, because all you were doing was being intense during that 21 days. All you were doing is being intense for that 6 weeks, or all you were doing was being intense for that season, instead of staying consistent, where it's a continual thing that's happening, where you're releasing a certain amount of pounds, or a certain amount of inches, or a certain amount of body fat percentage over a long period of time, so it stays off, you know. And so, yes, consistency over intensity. Intensity can get you hurt sometimes. Consistency will be with you for the rest of your life. So whatever habit you're consistent at, that's who you're going to be. If you're consistent at doing what you need to do, as far as in certain arenas and areas of maybe being positive, you're going to be consistency and being positive. If you're going to be consistent in being negative, that's what you're going to be, consistent and negative. And that sprouts out into every part, or filters out and falls out into every part of your life. So consistency over intensity. Way of Life Boot Camp.